I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I'm 37?
I'll have what she's having.
Well done! Well done!
And we are on. We are
Hello.
live. Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you? Yeah, how are you, Bruno?
I'm doing fine, and you?
You're doing fine. You don't look fine.
Oh, the spring is coming, and it's
The spring is coming. I thought the spring started on March, like the 1st.
no 21st, isn't it? Something like that.
21st. Well,
Yeah,
we come
it's
from
always
different cultures.
like 19 to the 21st.
Oh, okay. But I don't know, the weather here in Portugal has been very weird. Like one
Oh, yeah.
minute it's raining, another one is like super windy, another one is like sunshine.
Oh, yeah. And today is a sunshiny day, and the
Yeah,
spring
today's
is
cool. Today
coming.
today
So,
looks
which
cool. Yeah,
means
yeah.
love is in the air.
Oh,
Love is in the air.
Is there anything you want to tell me and our listeners? What do you mean love is in the air?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna be talking about love, isn't it?
Oh, okay, right, the movie, right. I was
Yeah.
like, do you have
The
any
wrong
news for
type of
us?
love, by the way. But anyway,
No, I mean,
it's love.
I mean, we're talking about a movie that actually is not like love is in the air. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking. It's you create some expectations with saying like love is in the air, and then
Yeah.
and then it's like we're talking about a movie that it's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember, but a couple of episodes ago, was it on Buffalo 66?
I think so.
Look at us not knowing this. But yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of episodes ago, we talked about this movie. Like in the outro, like in the end. We were saying bye. We were like closing the episode, and
Oh, yeah.
then one thing led to another, and then we got more 30 minutes of episode just talking about random stuff. Still related to Buffalo 66, but I started to talk about a movie that had an impact on me. And Bruno had not watched it, you know. And I was like, Bruno, you have to watch it. It's so sad. Like you have to. You have to cry, you know. I know you haven't been crying in a long time, and this movie would be perfect for that. So yeah. And he then watched it and decided that this would be his movie choice for this week, and I hate him for that. That's the conclusion. What are you laughing at? It's true. Like when you told me, oh, so the next movie is gonna be this one, I was like, well, fuck you. Screw you. Like I was trying to forget about it. By the way, guys, we are talking about past lives.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. I think
So
it's like in Buffalo 66 we talked a little bit about this relationship between the characters and if it's love or not. Then we did the Hitch episode where we talked about how do you guys like new guys say it, like Riz? Is it Riz?
yeah,
Yeah.
Riz.
Yeah, we talked about Riz and stuff and the game, isn't it? Like the dating game and all of that. And I thought it was like, oh, it's funny if we also do like past lives, which is a different side of love, isn't it?
Yeah, we're becoming like a love movie, a
Thing, isn't it?
romance, yeah, movie podcast, which I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed to, but like getting used to this is making me not want to choose some of the movies that I was going to choose because they're not in this theme. And I'm like, I want to talk about love, but I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this movie, which is just, I don't know, some sad guy or just a robbery or something like that. So,
Yeah. But anyways, at the time we are recording this, spring is coming, but by the time you'll be listening, spring has already begun, like
oh
a
yeah,
month or so.
true. And
So,
also, this movie is like our first movie that's like closer to to present time. It's
Yes.
a 2023 movie, and it was nominated for Best Picture
At the
in the
Oscars.
Academy Awards
Yeah.
this year. Yay! So it did not win. And I'm allowed to say this because by the time you're
Yes,
listening to this,
best.
it has been. Yeah,
Yes,
it
best.
has been. But
You would never win a film like that. But anyway, it was nice to be nominated.
I think it was really nice to be nominated. I think it didn't win anything, honestly, and that's okay. I mean, it won our hearts.
In our hate.
Yeah, also, but I feel like it's good to the recognition that this movie had, even for being Best Picture, because this movie was not nominated as Best International Movie, although it's set in South Korea and also the States, and but it wasn't like an international movie. It was set in the main category, which I think it's because of the production, the
Yeah, the companies
distributors were, yeah,
were
the companies.
the production companies are all American. Yeah. It's by
Yeah,
any way,
so
it's an American. It's weird because it's American film, but it's made entirely through another culture eyes, and like even the characters, the most of the film is spoken in Korean, so it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah, it's true, it's true. Yeah, it has like this two-sided culture and how they collide, via these two characters, because one of them immigrates and the other doesn't, and this is all explored through a love story that hasn't been achieved or hasn't been like realized yet.
Last episode we started like a new thing where we try to describe the plot in one sentence. How would you
Oh
do it?
yeah. We should keep going with that because that was fun. So this movie in a sentence, plot in a sentence would be when your husband is not the bad guy of your failed childhood relationship. I think this would be a good one.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, that's a nice one. And we'll be talking about it in a bit. Why this sentence really can also be a good way to summarize and describe this movie. Well, what's yours? What's yours? What's your plot sentence?
I would go with, and this is becoming a trend. When two idiots believe in destiny and they decide to hurt themselves and everyone around them.
Okay, that's very pessimistic. I hate it. I hate it. What do you mean?
But it is
When,
what it
like,
is.
what do you mean? Okay, so you can tell us your plot sentence, or tell us which one is the best, because I doubt that Bruno's one. You know what? I feel like a lot of people would have loved yours, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Vote,
Oh, and
guys.
I'm not saying
Vote.
that people that believe in destiny are idiots. I also believe in destiny. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
saying
do. I was
that,
like, what do
yeah.
you mean?
No,
You
I'm
do
just saying
believe
they
in
are
it.
idiots because they decide to act upon it.
But like, if you believe in destiny, won't you act upon it?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, because
won't
I'm an
you?
idiot also.
Oh, okay, okay. So you're just confirming it. You're
Yeah.
just okay. Okay. So what are our conclusions? What have we learned in this episode? Is that Bruno is an idiot, correct?
Yeah. Main conclusion is that
Yes. Okay, okay. So Past Lives. Past Lives is a Celine Song movie,
it
and
was her
it's
first film.
yeah, and it's a beautiful one. It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
drama, okay? It's a romance drama, and it's a very simple movie if you think about it. Like, it's not super complex in terms of scenographies, and it's just the times jumps this movie has are very impactful in these two characters' lives, which are Greta Lee, that plays Nora, which is the female character, and also Teo Yu, that plays the character Haesung. I think we also could put, and he's like the male interest in this story, but I think we also should put in this list John Magaro, that plays
Mm-hmm.
Arthur, that is the husband of Nora, and also in this list of main characters, because although he's not like the two main characters in terms of whose story this is, he's very important too, I feel like, for the plot in
Oh
itself,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
uh, and I really liked his character. So this movie has captured a lot of attention for people, and especially I've seen like on YouTube a lot of really well done and like researched video essays on this movie. And I believe this movie will also have a lot of papers written about it, because for me, something that really stood out to me in this movie is that it subverts the idea of the romance genre on movies, you know, on cinema. It really subverts your expectation of what a love story via cinema looks like.
Oh yeah.
And this is something that really just had such an impact on me when I like first saw this movie, is that it really went on my expectations when I put this movie in a more realistic lens, you know, because sometimes I watch movies that are not documentaries, you know, movies produced like the romance genre would be definitely a good example of that. And we are programmed, because so many movies have done this. There is like a type of romance that is going to be explored, and the type of narrative that it's going to be exposed, and how characters will act, and how love will be shown on the screen. So you have like an expectation of the happy ending, and how in movies sometimes things work out in a different way than in reality they would, you know. And this movie does the opposite of it. It actually puts you in a position where you're not satisfied with that happy ending. I mean, you are if you have emotional maturity enough to understand the ending, but like if you are looking for a traditional romance movie, this will not be it. And that's something that I loved about this movie, first
I
of all. Just
think I think this movie is real life. It's almost like a documentary. I
yeah,
think this is what happens in real life, and I found funny that the movie references Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and you even have the character watching the film, because they do deal with the same thing in like in a deep matter. They do
yeah,
deal with the reconnection of two people in love with each other, but in a different way. And this was actually based. I read that in an interview that this was actually based on some of parts of the film actually based on Celine Song's life. So it's inspired by something that has happened in her life. So I think this is one of the reasons the film feels so
so
authentic
real.
and
Yeah,
so
and
real.
authentic.
And most people, I've seen this film as like one of the highest ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes, and it only shows that it's a very simple story to deal with and to connect with, because most people will have gone through something similar than
Yeah,
this. I know a lot of stories of reconnecting with old lovers, and me myself had it. It feels real and it feels very authentic. But where I get the idiots from, it's because it's the inability that these two characters have to let go of each other, but they can't make it work because they are different persons every time. Like,
yeah,
because it starts with 12 years old and it goes to 24 years old and it goes to 36 years old. And all through this time, they have become different people. Like the 24 years old were still dealing with the 12 years olds, and the
yeah.
36 years old were still dealing with what happened when they were 24 years olds. And it feels very, very real.
Yeah, you commented that this movie shows these two characters that can't let go of each other, and I feel like the movie concludes with that resolution, you know.
I think the film is very, very cruel on the characters. It's very cruel on her, and it's very cruel on him also. And I had a discussion with this about this film with someone, with a woman, and like she sees the woman side of it, of course. Like it was like when he goes, like in the end, he goes to New York to visit and all that. Like it's
Yeah.
very cruel on him to, it's very egotistic of him to go there and be like, I'm here, like whatever. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and she has all her life, which is not
Knowing
like
that she's married and
yeah,
she like has a totally different life, and
there was no
I
way they
f-
could be together anyway. But the presence of each other's in each other's life was there only to confirm that they really still care for each other. They really have emotions for each other. But we're kind of jumping the gun here. Let's do what we do and go through it.
okay, so let's go like to the beginning of the movie where our two characters are 12
Yeah.
and
They
living in South Korea.
they are 12, they are classmates, and they are
Yeah, they're like besties.
yeah, they're besties, but you can see that there's something developing there,
Yeah.
especially from the guy's side. This is actually explained during the film, but it's like this is a proper South Korean boy man, like not showing feelings or anything, and not dealing with that. And it's quite funny the way they did it. So this girl, they are very different. They both kind of, it's weird because of the property thing. Like when you see the neighborhood, it looks like they live like in some slums or like in social housing or something. But they're actually both middle class
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah, they are middle
So
class.
yeah, so from the girl's side, the father is a movie director, and the mother is also a writer or something. You don't really see what the parents of the boy does, but you see that the mother is a stay-home mom, and the father comes to a point where he's all like in a suit and everything. So he has a nice job, and you see that their housing are not sometimes what you see in Korean films, like the very run down small houses. Their houses
Mm-hmm.
are actually like the living, like the rooms are really neat and big. Like if you go and see Parasites, you see the what the slum in Korea is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they are, this is very different. Like this is not like the top house where like you see in Parasites, but this
Yeah.
is not the slums like that. This is actually really
It's
middle
like in the
class.
middle, okay?
Yeah,
Parasite really just is a movie that just puts the contrast in social classes, you
yeah,
know? So you have like poor, 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 the rich, 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 you know?
yeah,
And so you
and
have like two different ways of living. But this movie, you know, you can identify their middle class for
yeah, they're
sure, you
middle
know?
class. They're living well. They're middle class. So these kids go to school together, and there's something going on with them, and I think this is very cruel from the mother to do, because the fathers of the girl, they decide to move to Canada,
To
but
immigrate, yeah.
they immigrate, but in the same time they have a play date, like they like, which is a big thing. Like this is
Oh, yeah.
when
Yeah, that was a
families,
bit cruel,
this
you
is
know?
really cruel. Like, you know, you're going go away, and she's like, "Would you like?" And she's like, "Oh, I think I have a crush on A Song. Oh, let's have a play date." And this is something like you put the kids playing together, spending time with the supervision of the fathers. This is actually dating. Like this is the early phases of dating in a society like that, which is weird. I was like, this is so cruel. Why do you put the kids playing
Why do you
together?
ask who your daughter likes? And it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you like him,
Oh, you
then
like him? Like
you're gonna say
we're
goodbye to
moving
him.
away in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I
Yeah.
thought like, oh my God, it's like the cruelty of the story actually starts when they're 12. And they have this
Uh,
play date. They kind of like declare love for each other, like in a kid's way. All of a sudden, the kid is in a classroom, and she never said anything to him. And now, all of a sudden, she's talking with the girls, and they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, you're
she's like
going away. You're
kicking.
immigrated. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
she's like
gonna go
so
away.
happy. I'm
Yeah, I'm
going. And
going. I want to win the Nobel Prize." And
Haesung is like, what?
yeah.
It's like,
He's
what?
really heartbroken, and he's like, "What's going on?" And you can see when they leave the school, like because they normally walk together home, and the guy is just with a basketball, and he just passes through her, like he just passes and keeps walking, and she's like, "Oh, whoa,
Understandable. I
wait, wait,
mean,
wait for me," and they do not talk all the way back home. They say nothing. It's like the kid is completely heartbroken, and oh
not only
man,
because she is going away, but also because she didn't told him. And
yeah,
supposedly, yes, they have like, kids' feelings for each other. They have like that crush, that sentimental bonding between each other, but they're also friends and really close friends. I believe like if that were to happen to me, I would also be kind of, why did not my friend say that? And why did I find out while she was super cheeky, speaking to her friend, like, "Oh my God, I'm going away. I'm so excited. I'm
yeah.
gonna be famous." And it's like,
I
what?
th I think that's the first betrayal of her towards him.
Yeah, for him,
And
yeah.
I think this is a trend in the film that she keeps betraying him.
What I was saying about the whole emotional maturity to understand this movie and not and this movie concluding in the way that it did is like a lot of people were mad that she did not cheat on her husband. And I was like, what? Because
Yeah,
a lot of people wanted them to be together. But it's like, if you understood this movie, you would understand that it's impossible for them to be together. It's just,
yeah,
it's not going to happen. And it's like everyone was expecting for her to betray the husband, but actually she just betrayed him.
yeah. She keeps betraying him. That's the thing in the film. But that's the cruelty towards him in the film. Oh, and I think that that shot is marvelous, the shot that you were mentioning, because they walk towards a certain point where she walks up a street and keeps on walking. Like they
Yeah,
take different paths, and that is so significant. That shot of them taking different paths. It's
it
like
is.
each one is going on their life. But the thing with this film is to understand the concept of Inyun in Korea, which is
Yes.
a belief that you will relive all your lives. And when sometimes you will meet someone that you have been together or you have an history for at least 8,000 lives. So you keep repeating this, and basically, if you go back to the beginning of humanity, you'll have more than 8,000 lives by this time. So there's loads of people that you meet in your life that you already met in past lives. This is the thing that they kind of find out through the use of this belief is
Yeah,
that
and also the number 8 also
yeah,
has a very big significance in Korean, South Korean culture, and I don't know
yes.
if Asian culture in general, but definitely in Korean culture.
Oh yeah, it's more Asian culture, like because the Koreans, Chinese, Mongolians, they all share certain elements of beliefs,
Yeah,
and eight is a very big thing. But the thing is, like they have all this belief that you have met in past lives, and you build up all this rapport in past lives, and then you meet again. That's why two people fall in love, and that's why two people marry, is because they are just repeating something from other lives. Not, but also repeating, but also learning something. They're
yeah.
always
So we're
learning.
not saying this is like a fact, and this is how like life works. We're just
Yeah,
saying that
this is a
this
belief.
is the this is a belief, and the movie plays on this belief,
Yeah.
and yeah.
So basically, they were supposed to be like those two people that already have past lives. So this kid gets his heart broken and like betrayed by his love interest, like at 12. And the movie jumps like to 12 years.
You know what's funny? Because she immigrated. Now I'm gonna tell a personal story here.
Yeah.
But when I first came to Portugal and I left my home country, I was already in kindergarten, and I had I'm not one to kiss and tell, but I had a boyfriend. Okay, had I had a love interest. He was the cutest boy in kindergarten, and we were like holding hands, and we were like so cute. And then I left. You see,
Yeah.
like mom took me and was like, bye. And later, I kept in touch with my kindergarten teacher because she was friends with my mom.
Yeah.
And a couple of years later, we were talking, and she said, "Yeah, you know, he still remembers you. He's trying to learn Portuguese to actually say something to you." And I was like, "No way." And I don't know if that's true or not, but that
Oh,
stuck with me. I don't know if that's true or not. Like,
that's
maybe
your
she was just,
Ian Young. No, not
yeah,
that Ian Young.
maybe she was joking. I don't know, but I thought it was so funny, and you know, when I watched this movie, and I thought, yeah, like she left her home country and immigrated, and she already had like someone's heart broken. I'm not saying I broke this dude's heart because we were like 4, but
Yeah.
well, like it's funny to think about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it
go
would be
on.
funny. That would be an interesting conversation if you got in touch.
Yeah, I really don't know. I have no
Have you
idea
never saw
because
him when you went on holidays to your country or
no, because like I when I go to my home country, I don't really go
out to
spend time in
your?
that city. I go to
Okay, okay,
other
okay.
places to see my family. And to be honest, I have no idea what's up with this guy. Like
He probably got his heart broken when he was 4, and then by the age of 12, 13, he started consuming drugs, and now he's a drug addict,
okay, do you
homeless,
think he's in
and roaming.
therapy saying it all started when I was 4?
Yeah. State-owned therapy because he has no money to do anything else because he lives in the streets,
Okay,
still
you know
clinging to
what?
the idea of this 4-year-old girl, very beautiful.
You know what?
Um,
I'm done with this topic because you're always make everything so tragic. What do you mean? Maybe he's a very successful guy and he's like, "Yeah, I'm successful now.
oh
How
yeah.
about that?"
He's probably a dictatorship or he's working towards like to give like a coup in Moldavia and get to dictatorship and like to
He
destroy
probably
everyone as the girl that destroyed his heart
Okay, you
kind
know
of
what?
thing.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again. You're making everything tragic. Please stop. Okay, maybe he's just a TikToker.
Yeah.
Maybe he's, I don't know. Maybe he works in a sushi restaurant. We don't know. We actually don't know.
Or probably
And
roams the city with your picture and go like, have you seen her?
again, Bruno, maybe that would be so weird. That would be so creepy. What do you mean, like roaming the picture with like my picture when I was 4?
Yeah.
I still have pictures of us in kindergarten
Oh,
when we
see?
were. Yeah, no, I still have because like, and he had like very blue eyes, like blue
Oh.
eyes, like no,
Like the
no,
White
you don't
Walkers.
like the White Walkers. Yeah, it's a bit scary if I think about it. It's like he had like this super light and I don't know, man. But I hope he's doing well. If he ever listens to this, with which I doubt, but that was
Oh,
so
that's a good
funny.
good thing. Like people share these episodes. Let's see if the episode reaches Moldavia and reaches to the heartbroken man that Mira
Maybe
left
he doesn't
behind.
even live there anymore. Why are we talking about a 4-year-old girl? I can't. You know what? Okay, okay. Moving on. We digress. Okay, so moving on. Nora moves to Canada with her family, and Hesang is heartbroken. Yeah, part 2.
Yeah, part 2 when they are 24 and Facebook is new. It's a new thing because this is like 2011 because the story actually sets in 2023, so it's 2011. So
Yeah,
Facebook is a new thing, and she's
remember that?
talking
Remember when
with.
Facebook was a thing?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I remember like holding on to get on Facebook, but I was in uni and everyone is like, you need to create a Facebook page because we'll create a group and it's easier to coordinate like filming and stuff. And I'll be like, oh God.
What? That was like when you were in London?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I actually got
Really? Okay.
Facebook just because people wanted to coordinate the filmings, like because it was the last year we had to do like
Okay.
a
Like
film.
people use WhatsApp now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, basically
Yeah.
it is. It
Well,
was
I
like
mean,
that.
my first my I just got Facebook when I was like 12, I guess,
Yeah.
or 11 because
Oh,
I
and
had a
you didn't look
crush.
for that guy?
No, because I had a crush on
Oh.
another guy, okay?
Oh,
I was
see? You see, man, how women like just move on.
Okay, you
It's
know what?
easy for
You know
women to
what?
move on.
You know what? Don't start with that, okay? So I had a crush on this guy, and he had a twin, and my bestie had a crush on the twin, and I had on this
Oh,
guy.
okay.
And we were like, let's have Facebook. And they were older than us, like 2 years older than us, something like that. I was like, oh my God, we like older guys. Yay. And
That's a swing
we,
situation.
what? No, like,
Yeah,
stop
they
it.
like the twins. How'd you
Like, listen, they
like
were
the
so
real
different for
twins?
no, yeah, real twin, but for us, they were
Oh,
so different. Like, I did not like her guy. Like, I was like, your guy ugly, my guy, yay.
but they're
So
real
I
twins. So how'd you? What's the difference between them?
like we actually knew the difference, okay? And
Okay.
we got Facebook just to add them to friends and to talk to
I'm
them.
okay.
And I ended up talking to him, and
Can I
he was
just say
so rude.
something?
Yeah, you can.
When you say we knew the difference, and you being so coy, it kind of
No,
puts like
stop.
a
You're making that's you. That's you. You. I was like thinking about something innocent, and that's all you, okay? You pervert. No, I was like 10. What do you mean? No. But the point is, I talked to him. I talked to him on Facebook. I was like, "Hi, what's up?" And it was so rude. He was like, "What do you want?" Like, I don't know you.
yeah.
Bye.
What the fuck? Yeah.
So Bruno, that was my heart broken. My heart was broken, okay? I
Oh,
just
poor
shared too
Miha.
much. I just shared too
Poor
much here.
Miha.
Yeah, for me, for me. Anyway, that was my experience
And
having
at the
Facebook for
same
the
time,
first
it's funny
time.
because you remember when we were talking about like that idea in Jim Jarmusch films, like everything is happening at the same time, which is a very interesting concept when you think about
It's
it.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
But
So what was
see,
happening during that time?
at the
So,
same time
so
that you were heartbroken here in Portugal, there was a little boy heartbroken in Moldavia crying over
listen.
you, you know?
Oh
It's
my
like,
God, Bruno.
and it's
We're gonna end this
probably.
episode. No, no, we're gonna end this episode earlier. What do you
Oh, I
mean?
want
He
to know about
forgot
that
about
Moldavian boy. I want to
He
know about all
forgot
about.
about me. What do
No,
you
he
mean?
didn't. He's trying to learn Portuguese. What do you mean he forgot about
It's
you?
been it's been it's
He's
been
like,
years,
she doesn't
and we
talk
don't know
Moldavian
if it's
anymore.
true.
She's
We don't
completely.
know. We don't know if it's true. Maybe the kindergarten teacher was
Oh,
like lying and I don't know, joking. I don't know.
you mean it's been
Uh
like 20 years or 18 years, and the guy's like, I can see him in the library looking at the dictionary, learning Portuguese and stuff. Like, oh, I want to
that's
talk to her.
crazy. That's crazy behavior. That's
Oh yeah, yeah.
crazy.
If the guy ever shows up and says like trying to speak
Yes,
Portuguese, you'd be like,
yes.
man, get the shrink.
Yeah,
Honestly, get the shrink.
completely. Okay,
But it's
okay,
a funny
back to the
story. It's a
movie.
funny
Back
story.
to the movie.
Okay, so she's talking with her mother in Korean, which is the only time she speaks Korean in her
I mean,
life.
same.
Yeah, and she's saying like, "Oh, who do I search now?" And she's like, "Do you remember that boy that I used to like?" Which I thought was like, "Oh, this is just silly." Just like, because what do you mean? Do you remember that boy? Man. You see how women are. Do you remember that boy?
Do you?
It's like Micha's going like, "Oh, I left someone there crying for me in Moldavia
I
all these
was
years." Stuff.
4. Oh my God. No,
See
listen.
how this is like,
She should
and
have said she should have said like this. Do you remember that boy that you made a play date with
yeah.
to make me
Well,
suffer
do you
for a
remember
little
Hey
bit?
Sung? Like, of course, like because she remembers Hey Sung, like, and whatever. I thought that scene was a bit weird. It was a bit like, yeah. So, and then she finds out that the guy was actually looking for her because she changed her name to Nora, and
Yeah.
he didn't know about it, and she connects with him,
That's
and
crazy. He was looking for her.
yeah, he was looking for. It's like the guy trying to learn Portuguese, isn't it?
Um,
So this guy, this guy's in Korea, and he's like, he sees. I think he comments on a Facebook page of the father's films of her father as a new film, and he comments like, "Do you remember me? I used to play with your daughter and stuff, and we were friends." And so they connect. And this guy is very funny because at the time when he receives her message, because of the time difference, he's getting drunk with his friends because one of his friends has just broke up with a girlfriend and they are getting drunk. They are totally plastered. And the guy just looks at the phone and be like,
that's
oh, God.
true. And he's like, that was, that's a moment for sobriety, and he was drunk, and he was like, oh no, 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 I'm not in the right mindset,
Yeah,
like,
and
for
he just puts the
this.
phone. But I think when he wakes up the next day and he's going to his phone, I think he's like
Was it real?
yeah, was it real? Is this real? And then he sees her message and they start talking and everything, and all of a sudden they are like video dating.
They connected again. And you know what? I gotta say, I loved how like realistic the video call
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
even with the stops and everything. Because sometimes
They were using
movies,
Skype, which doesn't exist anymore, but it
but
existed at
Skype
the
was
time.
the shit back
Yeah,
then. Listen,
yep.
Skype, I had Skype. Everyone
Everyone
had
had
Skype.
Skype.
Come
Yeah,
on. Skype sucks.
yeah.
Skype sucks nowadays. Like the connection is awful. Imagine if Zoom. I remember when the pandemic was happening, and
Yeah.
like in university everyone was like, oh, where are we going to have classes, online classes? And I was like, oh no, please not Skype, because Skype
Oh, Skype's
sucks.
over. Yeah.
I was like, I did not even know about Zoom, but thank God for Zoom. I was saying that I really liked how they did the video call, because something that I hate that movies do sometimes is like when they present video calls via phone or computer,
Or
it's so
FaceTime. Yeah.
fake. Like the FaceTime is so
Yeah.
fake. Like I can see how the production was done here, how the editing was done. This is
Yeah.
awful. This is so not realistic. I hate it. Points for Celine Song, and even like the camera quality. I enjoyed it, and it
It
felt
was
felt
really real. They
authentic.
went
Yeah.
for really authentic. It was really good.
But
And
they keep talking, like that's the thing. They discover that
a
this is a way
connection.
they can keep in touch, and they develop a new connection while their 12-year connection was unresolved.
There's like a narrative there because the video calls they start kind of being like in an hour that everyone can be there because they have to play with the time difference. And all of a sudden, like she's calling from her
Mhm.
own bed, like 7 a.m. She's waking up early so that she can contact him before going
Yeah.
to university, and he's calling like late at night, and she's calling late at night because it's the time they can. So all of a sudden, you get these like two people developing a real connection, a real relationship, and they start making all these efforts and like these
It's
weird
an
efforts
effort. Yeah.
to be together and to speak and to get this
And that's very
connection.
difficult. That's very difficult
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, no, it
and
is, because time differences, especially on countries that are so far apart, can be
yeah,
so like difficult for you to keep in touch with someone. So you
yeah,
gotta make like some sort of sacrifice on your daily life. Maybe lose a couple of hours of sleep,
yeah.
or maybe not hang out with someone because during that time it's your only time to keep in touch with this person.
What's the time difference to Moldavia?
For us, it's like we have like 2 to 4.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
It's not big. It's not big, but sometimes like
So you can
we're.
contact the guy. Just joking.
I thought you were serious. Like
Yeah,
the
no,
question
no,
was
you
serious
fell
here.
on that trap. But the thing is, like, there's a scene in the film that I've seen the film like 3 times now. I can't relate to it. I can't give it meaning, which is when she decides to end their long distance relationship or whatever that was, she dresses differently and she has a necklace that you don't see anywhere in the film apart from that moment. And there's actually a big play, like a big shot of the necklace. And when you see that, there's a big transformation on it because she's wearing like a gall dress and a night gall dress, and she has that necklace. And first I was like, oh, she met someone. But she didn't at the point, or at least the film doesn't show us that.
So
It was a
what are you
weird
thinking?
scene. I don't know. Because she's always chill and she's talking from the bed and she's like, whenever they,
Maybe she just broke up. Maybe she likes to dress up for breaking up with someone. Maybe it like gives her
ooh,
confidence.
See, man, if you ever go pick up a girl and she's all
Okay,
dressed
you know
up,
what?
that's the end of it. That's the end of
That's
it.
not the conclusion. Oh my. No, we don't know. We don't know why.
But it was a
That's a
weird
nice
scene,
observation
It
you
was a weird
made.
scene. I
Yeah.
was like, why the necklace? Why the importance of the necklace? Why the shot on the necklace? What's the meaning of it, And all of a sudden she's like really mad at him and she's like, we can't talk anymore. We shouldn't be talking anymore. And like she's breaking up with him. And the guy is a bit oblivious to it because it's not a relationship per se.
I think that
And
it was also very hard for them to get tickets to come see each other.
yeah, because there's the big discussion. Can you come and see me in New York? No, I can, only in 1 year. Like I cannot come to Seoul in like 1.5 years. So, but it's not like they can't. It's also that they don't want. That's the feeling I get.
I also think that because it's not that hard to book like a flight during vacation. Like you don't have vacations, is that it? Like not during Christmas, not during like summer. I don't know. You might have, and it's not like you guys are working, you are studying. If you are not having exams, I don't know. Something about it. I know that sometimes booking flight and booking vacations can be very difficult, but it is manageable. It is possible. So I do feel like there is a slight chance that maybe they didn't want to. And I feel like she was kind of fed up at the end and was like, this is not possible. We are not going to
Yeah.
be together. And I guess she was a bit angry when she was like, I felt like that breakup that she did was like ripping the band-aid off, you know? Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
and the
like
guy goes to drink and he gets plastered and I don't know because men react to it by drink. It's weird. But it was like you can see that she wants to invest more in her profession.
yeah, because she wants to be a writer.
Yeah, she wants to be a writer, which is funny because she goes from this is the thing they play out in the film. Like she goes like in the kid, I want to win the Nobel Prize and I can't be in Korea to do that. So she goes, that's a justification. Then when they reconnect, the guy's like, "You still want to win the Nobel Prize?"
Yeah.
Like, and she's like, "No, I'll be glad with the Pulitzer Prize." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah, later on they'll discuss another award and
Yeah,
it's like lower and lower in
yeah.
terms of like not it I wouldn't say like lower in terms of achievement, but like
But it's very specific to a job, isn't it?
exactly it's
Very
more
specific to a
it's not
job.
so idealistic, it's more
Yeah.
realistic
So
in the field.
she goes from this like Nobel Prize writer, and then all of a sudden she's into more like a journalistic type of writing, and then all of a sudden she goes into theater, and the prize is the Tony Award. And but it's funny how he keeps like not mocking her, but like because that's a way of seeing where she is at life, isn't it? It's because he even says that like when you left Korea, you were all ambitions and stuff. I'm gonna win a Nobel Prize. And as her life progresses, she comes up like to a more realistic achievement, which
Yeah.
is fine because as she makes this journey into a more realistic life, he makes the opposite journey or from a realistic life to an ideal life because like he's left heartbroken in Korea. He tries to live his life, but all of a sudden when she reconnects with him, she is like, oh God, there's a chance here. And then they break up again. And he has a girlfriend and everything. And all of a sudden, he goes to the States in this expectation of when he gets there and they will resolve their life, which is very idealistic and very
Oh yeah,
unreal.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I felt like he did that more for him, going to the States. 12 years pass and they're now in the, I don't know, 36 years old.
36, yeah.
And they will reconnect once more. Because he will fly out to New York and meet her. By
Yeah.
that time, she is married. She's married to an American guy. They met in a artist residency.
Yeah.
He also likes the same books she likes. They have a lot in common. They
He's a
marry.
writer.
Yeah, they live together, everything. So I do feel like he did go to New York, Haesung. I feel like he went to New York to more for himself than for their relationship. Because
Yeah.
if it was like that, I would judge him like, because he knew she was married. So like, what are you doing by going to New York to try and reconnect with her? I don't know.
I, I think
Oh,
that's his main thing. He's gonna try and reconnect with her, but then he meets the husband and everything. They go out. The only time they have like this real adult conversation is when they're 36 and they are in the bar. And it's the first time that he actually says to her that he loved her all his life. And he also says that, like something like, I'm glad that you are married with him and I'm glad that you have your life and you're happy and everything. That speech that he has is so cruel. It's really, really cruel. And this is the thing with relationships. Sometimes how the other person feels in the relationship might seem really cruel to the other person. But when we go into that, like, oh, you're just being cruel to me, what you're actually saying is, I'm not listening to you. I don't really care how you feel. I'm not listening to you. You're just being mean. It's like people go into this ego trip, isn't it? Like, instead of listening to the
yeah.
other person and the other person is like expressing how they feel, there's no reflection. Like, people don't think or start to reflect, why is this person saying this? Why is she or he feeling this? People go really into this ego trip. And the thing is, in that bar scene, it's really cool because they're actually listening to each other.
That
It's
bar scene, the movie starts with the bar scene. Like, it doesn't really start in Korea. It starts like in that bar scene. And for those who like don't know anything about the movie, which I suppose everyone doesn't know when they start watching the movie.
yeah,
So like there are two people watching. So in the bar is Nora, Hesang, and the husband. There are like I think two girls talking to each other and being like, or no, it's like a couple, another
it's a
couple.
couple, and they're trying to
And
figure out the
what's
dynamic
the
between
real
the
yeah,
three.
what's the relationship between these three people? Like,
Yeah,
who are they? Which one is with which? I mean, and they give a couple of tries, like, oh, I think those two are married, and the other one is a tourist guide, stuff like that.
yeah,
And me as a viewer, I was also a bit confused by the dynamic and relation, because at
yeah,
that moment is a very and you realize that later in the movie when the bar scene happens, and you are like, it gives you context and you realize, damn, this is very deep. Of course you wouldn't understand the dynamic when you were
yeah,
watching, because the body language, the way they are sitting, the way that the husband is not looking at them and just like playing with his drink, the way that there is a space between Nora and Haesung, but there is not a space between Arthur and Nora
yeah.
when they're sitting, the way that Nora looks at Haesung. It's like, it's so much happening, and only the movie can give you the context on what is happening and what that dynamic is. And I thought that was a really great touch on understanding the depth, the emotional depths, and the history between these characters.
I think the bar scene is amazing. It's an amazing scene.
The cinematography on that part is also very beautiful,
Oh yeah.
super warm, and in terms, like, it's so tense when you think about what is happening, but it has such a warm light to it. It's so yellow and like
Yeah,
so.
it's really, really cool because he has that warmth, isn't it? It's supposed to be comfortable. It's comfortable to the eye, but it's very uncomfortable to the feelings and to the mind.
Yeah,
I love they did this. I love this part in the film where when Arthur is like they are in bed and they are talking about like Hey Sung coming to the States and everything. And the guy is like saying like, "Oh man, this is a beautiful love story. You two guys have the perfect love story, like coming together again after all this time." They are star-crossed lovers anyway, but it's an idea that like you reconnect after this. This is destiny, and this is how it's supposed to be, and all. And
exactly.
he's like, we have such a boring story. Like we have met in a artist residency. We slept together because we were single at the same time. We got married, so you have a green card. And it is
You know
construct.
what? When he was like saying that, so Arthur, the husband, Arthur, he's like a bit insecure by this great love story
Yeah,
and the way that Nora feels towards Haesung and the whole reconnection and everything, which I think it's valid. When he says that, I'm like, what the hell is this man doing?
yeah, but
What are you
it's
doing?
like,
Like, because like the way, if I had a husband that said that, like said our story, our love is so boring, like we did that and described it like we only married because you needed a green card, I
yeah,
would be like, I would, that would destroy me, that would destroy me. You do not describe our relationship like that. There are so
yeah,
many beautiful things that made me actually marry this person, and it's real. The relationship, the marriage that Nora and Arthur have is real. It's actually
yeah.
they
This
might
real
have a
life.
lot in
Yeah,
common. I mean, remember that scene where there is like the red light, you
yeah.
know, at the crosswalk, and
They
they
cross
like
together. Yeah,
meet in
in
the
the
middle and
yeah,
kiss,
yeah,
and it was so beautiful. I thought that was such a beautiful moment for them, so beautiful. And
yeah,
the thing is, I feel like this is one of the important points that the movie is talking to the audience as well, because Arthur says that, and then he goes on this rant of saying, and people will think that I'm the evil husband
yeah.
that is in between this destiny love story and all of it. And I
In
was like,
literature, you would be.
yeah. And I was like, this is exactly the expectation that romance stories in art in general have made us think that this is what actually a love story is and how it
Yeah,
should develop and how it should work. Some people are destined to be with each other, and some people are just made to be with each other. So no matter how much different they become during life and how much like better they are with other people, because there is like this destiny, whatever that means, they should be with each other, and everyone that is in between is like just standing in between this grand love story, this grand Shakespearean love story, which is just bonkers when you think
yeah,
about real life, because that doesn't work like that. And that's a very toxic mindset. And
yeah.
this is why I love this movie, is because it subverts this idea. Actually, Arthur is not the evil husband. We are not supposed to hate Arthur,
Yeah.
although in traditional romance stories, we are made to hate this man that is standing in between love. And it's like he's not standing in between love. He's the love. Like he's her husband. Like they are together. They love each other. She's not forced to be with him. And actually, Nora has a lot more in common with Arthur than with Haesung, because
Oh, yeah.
for all that matters, Haesung ended up growing up in Korea and South Korea and ended up growing to be a very, well, naturally a South Korean man, while Nora, although she was born there and still carries that heritage, she is an American girl.
Oh,
She
yeah.
developed her teenagehood and all adulthood there. And this is a part that I really relate to, being an immigrant myself. Like, I would not be able to be with someone from my home country, because it's like I don't relate to those people. I
Oh.
didn't grow up there. I didn't receive the same like interest and likes and moral standards that I do have in common with people from Portugal, which is very normal because I grew up here, and not
Oh,
there.
that poor boy.
Fuck him, whatever. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm so sorry, Sasha. Like, Sasha, you're the best, but like, it was not
Oh, his name
meant.
is Sasha.
Yeah, his name is Alexander, but everyone called him Sasha
Oh,
because
that's
that's
so
what.
stereotypical, isn't it?
Yeah, that's like
There's
how
always a Sasha when you see
it's
characters
Alexander. It's
Middle East,
actually Alexander.
which is another
Alexander.
stereotypical for like Moldavia. Yes, for that.
For Eastern countries, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, whether you are a girl, you don't have a gender when you call someone Sasha.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it can be either
The girl or
um
man.
the girl or the boy. Yeah, it can be anyone called it's like Taylor, like the
Yeah,
name Taylor
yeah.
for in English. It's like that. It's anyway, why is this man ruining? He is the evil in this episode, standing in between my thoughts here.
No, it's
But
just funny because it's funny because as I said in the beginning, it's like this film relates to a lot of people because you have this there's like three relationships like in the childhood when they are 24 and then it's 36. And you can see like by the 95 or 96 rating that he has in Rotten Tomatoes, 95 or 96 people have connected to the film because you'd have gone through one of those relationships, or even with the destiny kind of love story. Everyone goes through this and everyone has these elements in their life. This is why the films feel so real. You'd see that. And I find it's funny that you have like someone that's trying to learn Portuguese just to talk to you, and you like
we don't know if that's
and
true
you
once
like
again,
those
but it
people,
was
fuck Sasha.
no, I'm not saying fuck those people, fuck Sasha. I'm saying God, listen to yourself. You are painting me in such a bad light. Listen, it's like I'm saying that I realize whenever I hang out with people from my home country that I don't really have that much in
Yeah,
common with
that's
them, which
normal.
is which is normal. I feel like that's normal, and
Yeah,
people need to like realize. Remember that scene where Nora is putting like I don't know body lotion on her
yeah,
hands, and they're talking, Arthur and Nora, and he asks her, do you like him? Did you miss him? And she's like, I don't know. He's very Korean. He brings out the
yeah,
Korean in me. Because, like, for all that matters, she's Korean because she was born in Korean,
yeah,
because
yeah. I
she still
understand that. Yeah,
talks to her mom in Korean, but it's not like she lost a lot of her Koreanness. So he kind of brings that back because he's such a Korean man, because he was like, he grew up there, I mean, normally. And it's interesting that she can identify that. But for all that counts, Nora is much more alike Arthur because they are very similar growing up in the States and,
yeah.
having the same interest and all of that. Then Nora is with Hesang. I mean, they might be like star-crossed and all of that in concept, but in this life that the movie shows, they are not meant to be with each
Oh
other.
no, no,
Maybe
no.
in a past life or maybe in a future life.
One of the things I like with the scene in the bedroom, in the bed, when Arthur is like, "Yeah, I would be like the evil husband and everything, and this is our life and everything," is that when Nora speaks, and this is very common with people that are writers or that people that I used to write, which is like you say stuff that you're trying to be poetic, but you don't realize at the moment unless the other person confronts you, is that you're not helping. You're not saying anything good. Like when she's like, the guy
Bruno
is.
just cheating on everyone that wants to be a writer or poet and
Oh yeah, because I had like similar moments, and she goes on this very poetic thing, going like, "Oh, but this is where I am in life. My life brought me to this point, and my life brought me to be here with you and everything." It's like this is not the answer this guy wants. You're not saying a good thing. You're just reinforcing his idea that we are not special, that we just did all of this because we had to, and you're like, oh, but my journey in life brought me to this point and it's like it's nuts because she's not saying what she thinks. Let me tell you a story. This is a very funny story. I always tell this when two people react to the same reality, but the reality is different for them. So I was dating this girl like 20 years ago. She was from my university, and we have reconnected also through times, several times. This is one of the things that this film makes feel very real, and we actually went to the cinema to see this film together. Although I had seen it already, I knew what I was going to see, but she didn't.
wow, you really like
Yeah,
struck a point with that one, yeah.
yeah. And like 22 years ago, we were like in my house that I was renting with people because I was living in Lisbon in university, and she was spending the night there. And my room was like this interior room that has no windows to the outside. He only has a
Ew, that's
door.
awful.
Yeah. He only has, it was big. It was like 30 square meters, something like that.
Okay, but I'd rather have a
Um,
small room with a
yeah.
window than.
Anyway, but it was like, yeah, the door and a little window to the other room that connected to the outside, to both sides. So the girl that was living in the other room, she was away for the weekend. And so she left windows open. And this is at night, and there's this moonlight coming in through that window. And this moonlight, because my bed was right in front of that window, because it was a high window, like it's not like a peeping window. It was a very high window. You couldn't like peep into the other girl's room or anything like that. But anyway, there's this light coming in, this beautiful, beautiful light, this beautiful moonlight coming in. And we are laying down in bed, all lights are off, just this moonlight. And this moonlight was like honor, right? And we are there, and I say something that for me was really romantic. I said something like, "You are really, really beautiful with this light." And she said, "What, in the dark?"
Fair, fair.
Which is fair for both sides, but I was trying to be romantic and be like with the moonlight shining on her body and everything. And I was like, "Oh, you're so beautiful in this light."
And she's
And she's
like,
like,
"What
"What, in the
light?
dark?"
You only like me in the dark when you
And I
can
was
see
like,
me."
"Oh, no, because it's like sometimes you say things that for you are very romantic, but they're not." And it's funny because you can see Arthur's reaction when Nora is like, "No, my life brought me here. I'm here with you." And Arthur is like looking at her like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
I'm just another bus stop. Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it was funny.
Like, she should have said something like, "I choose you," or
Yeah,
"It's
something like
my
that.
choice," or I don't
When I
know,
saw
like,
you, I fell in love and everything. I wanted to marry you. Everything
or
is a
saying
side
like his
note.
qualities and what they have
Yeah.
in common, and not say that I married you because I needed a green visa.
Yeah.
That's so icky. What do you mean? Um,
It was a funny scene because I was like, "Oh God, woman,
but
you are
true,
not
Arthur
saying."
is a bit insecure, and rightfully so, I guess. But at the end, they meet. Nora brings Hassan back to her apartment to
Yeah.
meet her husband, Arthur. And it's so cute the way that they try to communicate because so Arthur knows a bit of Korean because of Nora, and
Yeah.
Hassan ended up learning a couple of words in English to try and
Communicate, yeah.
communicate. Yeah,
See
and
how people do that? People go to all that effort of learning another language to communicate.
are,
Just
are
the
you
but no,
doing
no, no,
another
no, no, no.
joke of Sasha like
No. No, no, not really.
no, like I can see it in your face. Like you guys cannot see his face, but he has like
I'm
such
glowing.
like a smirk in his face, like I'm so funny. I'm not telling you anything, I'm not telling you anything if you're gonna like be like that,
No.
Yeah,
And
they have
later
like a
on,
tour
yeah.
moment, like Nora shows Hassan New York,
But
and
later on,
yeah.
when they are the three walking and they are like going to dinner and everything, and they are talking about the what they did, Arthur is like, "Oh, so what did you do today?" And when they like, "Oh, you went to the Statue of Liberty and everything," and he's like, this was so funny when he's like, "Oh, we never been there."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Such a
this
common thing for local people.
yeah. And they go and do something that he hasn't done with his wife. It's that exclusion thing of going like, "Do you mean like you did something with him that you have never done with me?"
In the
And
city that we live in.
I was like, "Oh, everything in this story is saying to Arthur, be aware, like be the
Uh,
jealous guy and be the." But he's like he's trying to hide his jealousy, isn't he? He's like, "Oh, okay."
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a jealousy, but it's not like a toxic jealousy. It's
No, no.
just a natural one, a human one.
He's
I
not
think
toxic
everyone
anywhere. Like it's
in
funny.
in in any way, and that's like the thing. You cannot hate him because he's actually the best husband. And they try to communicate, and at the end of it you kind of understand that Haesung is just like, I'm gonna let you free, I'm gonna let you go, because he got confronted with her reality, with her life, and how actually happy she is, and how it's not worth to actually do this reconnection to be another like comma. It needs to be a full stop.
Yeah, I like when she says to him that when I left Korea, I left my 12-year-old with you.
True.
And that was really beautiful. That was
Yeah.
a really beautiful
No,
thing.
the
Also very
screenplay
cruel.
is beautiful.
It's very cruel of her to say that to him, saying like, I left my 12-year-old with you, like I left a part of me with you, which again, she thinks that she's saying something really poetic, but she's not. She's just saying something that's actually really cruel, because this
Okay,
guy
Nora,
is like,
maybe let the poetics for the paper. I don't know.
I don't know. I think she has always this poetic side of life and everything, or how she sees life. And it's like, I think she's trying to say like, I left this part of you because we are part of each other, like in our childhood and everything. We are part of our past. We can't be part of our future because it's the child thing. She says, I left the child with you. Now I'm a woman. But it's very cruel at the same time to say that. And all of a sudden he goes against the belief, like it tries to expand the Korean belief of Yoon, of saying like, asking her to imagine like, if they have been together in past lives, there also might be a possibility that they are already together in a future life, because he's trying to bring up physics, isn't it, to modern physics, to believe, going like, there's different dimensions, there's different realities. Probably there's a
Quantum
life.
physics,
Yeah,
yeah, like we're
there's a
jumping.
life that we are already together and everything. What do you think we'll be to each other? And she's like, I don't know.
It's like, I don't know.
And
For someone who's so poetic, like that was
yeah,
such a
she's like,
dry
I don't
answer.
know. She
Like,
does. She
what?
doesn't even try to think about it. She's like, and the
What a
guy's like,
way to break
okay,
someone's heart.
okay,
But
see you then. I love the last scene where he's looking at the car, like looking
the
through the
last
window.
scene, so like the last scene before that one,
Yeah,
the scene where they say goodbye, it's actually the scene that broke everyone's heart. It broke mine. It broke everyone's hearts,
it
It's
broke
like it's
Sasha's.
that ignoring that. So ignoring that and because they're saying goodbye and she is taking him to his Uber, you know
Yeah,
and they are waiting for the car. They walk to the meeting point, and it's silence between them. And
yeah,
they're like standing there waiting for the Uber in silence. And like there's this moment when he's saying goodbye to her that he just turns around and like turns full body around, turns front to her. You can see that that moment kind of like had that expectation of them kissing or
yeah,
like something could happen there, but he would not make the first move. And I think that's also because of his culture.
yeah,
And she would be the one to make that move because having more New York in her, she would be
yeah,
more comfortable in making such move. But she doesn't. And it's not like you wish something would have happened, but what actually breaks you is like he gets in the car, they say goodbye to each other, and when she walks back to like the front door of the apartment, her husband is there waiting for her, and she just breaks in tears,
yeah,
and he holds her, like he holds her and tells her it's gonna be okay, like because she just breaks, and you can see it's like she never, first of all, she never stopped being a crybaby. Like in the
yeah.
beginning of the movie, she's crying and Hae-sang like makes fun of her, like they're 12 years old. Like it's a running kind of joke as well, like the awards for
Mm-hmm.
literature, like the fact that she cries, like
Yeah,
it's a running joke throughout the movie. But at the end, she actually breaks down, and I feel like it's she breaking free from all the tension, all the emotion, and all the history that she had with him because they made like a full stop,
yeah,
and you can see that because in the last scene when he's in the car and looking out the window, you can see a sort of release expression on him, like
yeah,
it's okay, they are both now in peace, they are both now going their ways, and this relationship between this emotional bond is finally like put to an end. Like I'm not saying that they will not have still like a bond with each other
oh, of
because
course, but
I don't believe like
it kind of
they
ends
wouldn't.
there, doesn't it?
it kind of ends there. It finally had their closure moment, and the way she breaks down just makes you break down, and at least I broke down, and from what I've seen, a lot of people broke down as well. So, it's a very tough scene, and probably one of the toughest scenes I've seen in movies. And I usually cry a lot. I'm not gonna lie about it, but I was not only tearing up, I was let's say my nose was stuffed, and I drooled. Yeah.
I think that scene, he has that all that emotion to it, but it's something that it's funny, like watching it from a male perspective, of course. Although this was written by a woman and everything, but it's like even Arthur, like gives her a hug, although she's crying for this other man, and he's like being really supportive and everything. I think we talked about this in one of the episodes, saying like you can't have a relationship unless you have a friendship.
Well, of course, like that's the thing. A
And
lot
she
of
doesn't have a friendship with Asung. They had a friendship when they were 12, but that was it.
no, they don't have it. They just have that emotional bond that they
And
really don't know what to do
yeah,
with it.
and the friendship that she has with Arthur gives another meaning to the relationship because it's very cruel on the couple also to go through this. They are dating for 10 years, but they only got married like for 7 something years. But then all of a sudden comes this third party, stirs up all these emotions and everything. So I think it's a very cruel but real movie, real thing that's going on there. And they can only endure that because normally that would end up in divorce, but they can only endure that because there's a big friendship between them.
Yeah.
They are really, really good friends.
Yeah, it puts their marriage through a challenge as well, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But it's like they survive because of that friendship. And the scene where he's in the car, the shot is the same shot that when he was in the car when they were 12. When they when they play date and they are going home and they are holding hands, and you see this shot from outside the car and he's looking outside the window. And it is exactly the same shot, which I found it was really, really well done. Because as she pointed out, she left a 12-year-old with him, and he's fine with it, and he comes to terms with it. But it's the closure they both needed.
Yeah. It's a great ending. And that's why I say you need some sort of emotional maturity, or you need to have been through something similar to actually understand the message of the movie, the depth of it. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a great romance movie. Really challenge the romance genre. I'll say it again. And probably one of the best movies I've seen last year. Yeah. Guys, if you haven't watched it, you are missing out.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
this was one of the movies that was nominated for Best Picture and Best Screenplay because the screenplay is so
It's
good.
amazing. It's amazing.
It's amazing. So, like, I would definitely recommend people to watch it. And like, if you have watched it, I mean, tell us, do you connect with it and why? If you want to tell us a personal story, you can. We're not going to like share it or something, but like you can. Or just say, why did you connect? And what was like the most heartbreaking scene in the movie? And how do you feel about like love stories of people who have like this concept of having met in so many lives, and some lives they will not be together, but in another they might.
Oh, yeah. That's the main thing of the film, is that's the main message. And if you believe
Yeah.
or not in that type of setting, which is a very popular belief around the world, the reincarnation, and it has different words for it, but it is a very popular belief.
This movie definitely believes, okay? This movie plays with that belief. So if you are like, if you're not a fan of it, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I still think you should watch it, though. I still
Yeah,
think you
watch
should
it.
watch it.
Yeah, most definitely watch this film. Most definitely. So, do you still speak
And
Moldavian?
what
Do you still
do I?
speak Moldavian?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, I do. I do. I still speak. I speak every day.
So why is the other guy trying to speak Portuguese?
Because he thought I didn't know how to speak Moldavian anymore. I don't know. And actually, at the time, I only spoke Russian.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
common, isn't it, in Eastern Europe?
No, I like the kindergarten was Russian kindergarten. So
Okay.
That's why. And I was about to say that I'm in love with Greta Lee. I think she's beautiful. I want
Oh,
to
yeah.
marry her, but she probably won't marry me. But anyway, go Greta Lee. Like I'm a fan of hers. I'm excited to see her in more projects and see more projects of Celine Song because I loved this movie and I'm really excited to see other movies that she might have and other projects and stories. And yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think she'll have a nice career like Sofia Coppola as like in a more woman-like mind movie kind of thing because it's the way the films are. If this film was written by a man and shot by a man, this would be a very different film.
Probably. I mean, I'm also gonna give it to individuality because if Celine Song had put her personal life in it,
Oh,
I
yeah,
also
she did.
believe that to impact the production of a story, of a movie,
Oh, of
of
course.
the way it feels, it comes to also individuality. So yeah, definitely a watch movie, a rewatch one on a sad day for sure. Anyway, this became a bit sad at the end, but like be happy.
Oh, yeah, spring is
Because we
here.
have a lot of great movies coming up, great movies like commentary movies,
Love is in the
on
air.
yeah, maybe that. We promise we'll like do other movies and love stories, but like if you
Oh,
love
yeah.
the love movies and all of it, comment below some suggestions that you would love to see us do episodes on. You can contact us on our email, which will be linked down below, or via Instagram as well. Those are usually the only places that we are most available for contact, and interactions. What more can I say? Oh yeah, buy us a coffee if you want to and hang out and tell us what you thought about the movie.
And
Everything
share
will be
us with your
linked.
friends.
Yeah, share us if you want. I mean, we will share you. I mean, we can share. We're sharers. I mean, we're a family here, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Trying to build a community. If you want to join, we are so glad to have you. And thank you so much for listening and for joining us. Also, welcome to everyone that's new here. Like, thank you so much for feedback. We've been reading your messages. Thank you so much. If you want to join and be a part of our next episode with a question or some sort of interaction, you can do that. Do you have anything else to say, Bruno?
Oh, yes.
What?
Let's share this and try to get to Sasha. Hashtag save
my
Sasha.
God. Oh my God. Okay.
See ya.
Bye.